Harbaugh. What's your favorite thing about him since he's come to the Chargers?
My favorite thing about him is getting a chance to see him behind the scenes, and not what necessarily everybody else gets to see. And my first example of that was one of the early road games. I went down to the meal room at the hotel, and I went to get like a coffee or something. And there wasn't many people in there, but it was Joey Bosa sitting at a table with Jim Harbaugh. And so I hang out down there for a little bit, visit with some people. I go back upstairs. I come back down maybe 30 minutes later, maybe grab a water or something. I wanted something out of there. And they're still sitting there and they're just kind of finishing up. And Joey gets up to leave and puts his hand on his shoulder and just said, "Coach, I always love talking with you, Coach," and got up and left. And I thought, this is such a small thing, but people talk about, discipline and, the toughness and the teaching. I'm like, you know what? Jim Harbaugh's a relational master. Like, you connect with people one-on-one. And I've seen him do that with so many different players on this team, and not just star players, all pro players like Joey Bosa. It could be somebody that they just signed, but he has a unique way of being able to make connection with players. And I think that's kind of the secret sauce for why he's just won everywhere he's ever been.
Well, you are spot on that analysis, and you stated it, of course, beautifully. That was the experience I had working with him in Oakland. It did not matter what your role was, what your position was, what your responsibilities were. He would spend as much time with someone at the phones or manning the ticket office as he would with the star players. That's who he is.
Yeah, no, it's 100%. And it's just there's so much buy-in, and it's so much, team oriented. And some of the stuff that I think you might see from the outside of, hey, let's give guys high fives after games and singing "He's a Jolly Good Fellow." The next eye roll that I see from one of these guys, as someone who's on the team playing, as someone who's in the team meal room, who's on buses, will be the first. Like, it's because it's perceived as what it is. It's just genuine. It's authentic. It's real. It's all about football. It's all about team. It's all about winning. And to say that he has buy-in would probably be an understatement. It's complete 1,000% buy-in.
How specifically has he changed Justin Herbert in particular?
Well, I think he's equipped him with some things to help him. I know much was made in the offseason about, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. They all go out the door. But you go out and get Joe Alt to give them, in my opinion, as good a tackle pair that you have in the NFL. Look, Rashawn Slater's awesome. Joe Alt's been excellent as the two tackle pieces. They go out and get a couple bigger backs. Now, they haven't run it as well as they'd like, but they have stayed with running the football. So Justin's not having to be, Superman in all these games. I feel like on an NFL schedule, and Amy, you'd be great on this one too, because you've seen it over so many years and the teams you're a part of. I feel like the NFL, they put 8 wins on your schedule every year. If you'll just go win them, just don't be dumb. Don't turn the ball over. Don't bust assignments in the secondary. Don't blow protections in pass pro. Like, there's 8 wins out there. Just take them. And he's done such a good job, Harbaugh has, of kind of putting that philosophy in place. And Justin's played that way. He has not turned the ball over. He just won't do it. He's not going to lose you football games. And then there's the moments where you're going to have to be kind of Superman. And that might be a moment this week against Kansas City Chiefs where Justin has to do a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive with the football. But man, you can win a lot of Clark Kent games along the way.
Excellent Clark Kent reference. Nicely done, Daniel. Look, I've always believed that the very, very best coaches best position their players to be their best. Justin Herbert hasn't had that before in a coach. I would say going back as far as college, but certainly not in the NFL. And Jim is doing just that. He's best positioning Justin to be his best.
And what do you think he's doing to do that? I want to know, like, what you're seeing, because you've obviously seen him progress.
Yeah, I think he's I think he's just taken the pressure off of him, Like, I think Justin entered games going, I've got to throw for 400 yards. I got to be perfect. I've got to, hit all these big plays, be dynamic. I've also got to use my legs and do these different things just for us to be competitive and win ball games. Now, Justin did it a bunch, brought the team to the playoffs playing that way. But I think there's a freedom and a liberty of saying, like, hey, it's not all on you here. We have a complete team. We have one of the best defenses in the NFL. We don't give up points. We don't need you to do all that. And not only is that going to help us win games early in the season, I'll be curious to see how this goes, because in my opinion, my theory is as we get down these last handful of games, you're going to see Justin maybe do a little bit more as a runner, and maybe be a little bit more involved and kind of use some of those physical tools a little bit more, because they preserved him to get him to this part of the season and, hopefully into the postseason as well. But I think that was strategic. I think you see the same thing with Buffalo. I think Buffalo's had Josh Allen health-wise limping into the postseason sometimes because so much had been put on his plate. And you've seen with him, they've pulled back a little bit. And now as you're getting ready to come down the stretch run, I think you'll see Josh Allen unleashed as well. So, I don't think Jim Harbaugh is the only one with some of these answers, but he's done a really good job of implementing them.
Check out new episodes of What the Football with Suzy Shuster and Amy Trask every Tuesday. Watch us on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page or follow and listen wherever you get your podcasts.